In the shadowy world of drug cartels and organized crime, a few names stand out as legends, their stories shrouded in both infamy and fascination. From the ruthless reign of Pablo Escobar to the audacity of El Chapo Guzman, the history of drug trafficking is replete with larger-than-life figures. But amidst these notorious figures, there is one woman whose name strikes fear and captivates the imagination: Grice de Blanco, the godmother of the cocaine trade. In the annals of criminal history, few individuals have left as indelible a mark as Grice de Blanco. Born into poverty in Colombia, she ascended to become a towering figure in the dangerous world of drug trafficking. With an iron fist and a reputation for brutality, Blanco carved out her place in the infamous Medellin cartel during the 1970 seconds and 1980 seconds. Her role in shaping the Miami drug scene and her reign of terror earned her the chilling monikers La Madrina and the Black Widow. As the queenpin of the cocaine trade, Blanco commanded a vast empire built on violence and cunning. This is the captivating and often chilling story of Grice de Blanco, the woman who defied gender norms and shattered expectations in the ruthless world of organized crime.
Number 1. Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar Gaviria, December 1, 1949, December 2, 1993, was a notorious Colombian drug lord and the leader of the Medellin cartel, one of the most powerful and violent criminal organizations in history. Escobar was born in Rio Negro, Colombia, and he rose to prominence during the 1970 seconds and 1980 seconds, a time when his cartel controlled the majority of the global cocaine trade. Escobar's criminal empire made billions of dollars through drug trafficking, primarily cocaine, which was smuggled into the United States and other countries. He used violence and intimidation to eliminate rivals and expand his control, resulting in the deaths of thousands of people, including politicians, law enforcement officials, and innocent civilians caught in the crossfire of his operations. At the height of his power, Escobar was one of the richest individuals in the world. He was known for his flamboyant lifestyle, which included luxurious properties, private zoos, and a fleet of planes and helicopters. Escobar used his wealth to gain popularity among the poor by funding public works projects, building schools, hospitals, and churches, and even sponsoring soccer teams. The Colombian government, along with international law enforcement agencies, made numerous efforts to capture or kill Escobar. However, his immense wealth and network of loyal followers made it difficult to apprehend him. Eventually, in 1993, Escobar was killed by Colombian police during a raid on his hideout in Medellin. Pablo Escobar's life and criminal activities have been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and television shows. He remains a controversial figure in Colombia, remembered both for his brutality and the socioeconomic impact of his philanthropic efforts. Number 2. El Chapo. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Loera, born April 4, 1957, is a Mexican drug lord who gained notoriety as the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations in the world. El Chapo, which means shorty in Spanish, earned his nickname due to his relatively short stature. Guzman was born in La Tuna, a rural community in the Mexican state of Sinaloa. He started his career in the drug trade in the late 1970 seconds, working for the Guadalajara cartel. After the cartel's leader, Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, was arrested in 1989, Guzman and other associates formed the Sinaloa cartel. Under Guzman's leadership, the Sinaloa cartel became involved in the production, smuggling, and distribution of massive quantities of drugs, primarily cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and marijuana. The cartel's operations extended across Mexico and into the United States, as well as other countries. Guzman gained a reputation for his cunning and ability to evade capture. He became known for his elaborate tunnel systems used to transport drugs across the U.S.-Mexico border and his ability to bribe officials at various levels of government. Over the years, he was arrested multiple times but managed to escape from prison on 2 occasions, in 2001 and 2015. In 2016, Guzman was finally captured and extradited to the United States to face charges related to drug trafficking, money laundering, and murder. In 2019, he was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. El Chapo's life and criminal activities have been widely covered in the media, and his story has inspired books, documentaries, and a popular Netflix series called Narcos, Mexico. His rise to power and eventual downfall have made him one of the most infamous figures in the history of the illegal drug trade. Number 3. Osio Cardenas Galain. Osio Cardenas Galain, born May 18, 1967, is a former Mexican drug lord who was the founder and leader of the Gulf Cartel, a major drug trafficking organization based in northeastern Mexico. He played a significant role in the expansion of the Gulf Cartel's operations and its violent rivalry with other criminal groups. Cardenas Galain was born in Matamoros, Tamaulipas, Mexico. He began his criminal career as a small-time marijuana and cocaine dealer, but quickly rose through the ranks of the Gulf Cartel. In the late 1990s, he emerged as the cartel's leader after a series of internal power struggles and the death of his predecessor. Under Cardenas Galain's leadership, the Gulf Cartel became heavily involved in drug trafficking, smuggling massive amounts of cocaine, marijuana, and other illicit drugs into the United States. The cartel also engaged in other criminal activities such as extortion, kidnapping, and human trafficking. Cardenas Galain was known for his violent and ruthless tactics. He formed alliances with corrupt law enforcement and military officials, allowing him to operate with relative impunity for a time. However, his aggressive approach and escalating violence attracted the attention of the Mexican government, leading to an intensified crackdown on the Gulf Cartel. In 2003, Cardenas Galain was arrested in a major operation carried out by Mexican and U.S. authorities. He was extradited to the United States in 2007 to face charges related to drug trafficking and organized crime. In 2010, he pleaded guilty to various charges and was sentenced to 25 years in prison. As of my knowledge cutoff in September 2021, he remains incarcerated in the United States. Cardenas Galain's arrest significantly impacted the Gulf Cartel's operations, leading to internal divisions and power struggles within the organization. It also contributed to the fragmentation of the Mexican drug trade and the rise of other criminal organizations seeking to fill the power vacuum left by the Gulf Cartel's decline. Number 4. Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, born January 8, 1946, is a former Mexican drug trafficker and one of the most influential figures in the early history of Mexican drug cartels. He is often referred to as El Padrino, the Godfather, due to his role in establishing the Guadalajara cartel, which became one of the largest and most powerful drug trafficking organizations in Mexico during the 1980s. Felix Gallardo was born in Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico. He started his criminal career as a police officer before becoming involved in the drug trade. He eventually formed alliances with other drug traffickers, including Rafael Caro Quintero and Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo, and together they created the Guadalajara cartel. Under Felix Gallardo's leadership, the Guadalajara cartel controlled the trafficking of large quantities of cocaine, marijuana, and other drugs into the United States. The cartel had a vast network of connections that stretched from Colombia, where they sourced the cocaine, to Mexico and across the U.S. Felix Gallardo's organization was known for its sophisticated operations, corruption of government officials, and violent tactics. They were responsible for numerous drug-related killings and were a dominant force in the Mexican drug trade for several years. However, Felix Gallardo's reign came to an end in 1989 when he was arrested by the Mexican authorities. He was convicted of drug trafficking, kidnapping, and murder, and was sentenced to 40 years in prison. He remains incarcerated as of my knowledge cutoff in September 2021. The downfall of Felix Gallardo and the Guadalajara cartel marked a turning point in the Mexican drug trade. The cartel's demise led to a power struggle among other criminal organizations, including the rise of the Sinaloa cartel led by Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. A Felix Gallardo story has been depicted in various books, documentaries, and television series that explore the history of drug trafficking in Mexico. Number 5. Grice de Blanco. Grice de Blanco, February 15, 1943, September 3, 2012, also known as La Madrina, the Godmother, or the Black Widow, was a Colombian drug lord who played a significant role in the Medellin cartel during the 1970 seconds and 1980 seconds. She was one of the most powerful and ruthless figures in the history of the international drug trade. Blanco was born in Cartagena, Colombia, and grew up in poverty. She became involved in criminal activities at a young age, specializing in the smuggling and distribution of cocaine. Blanco was known for her shrewd business tactics, her ability to build extensive networks, and her brutal approach to dealing with rivals. During the height of her criminal career, Blanco was responsible for establishing smuggling routes between Colombia and the United States. She played a significant role in the Miami drug scene, where she operated a vast cocaine trafficking operation. It is believed that Blanco was responsible for numerous murders, including those of rival drug dealers, associates, and even innocent bystanders. Blanco's organization was known for its violent tactics, which included the use of hitmen and assassins to eliminate competitors and anyone who posed a threat to her empire. Her notoriety extended beyond the drug trade, and she was also linked to various other criminal activities, such as money laundering, kidnapping, and arms trafficking. In 1985, Blanco's reign came to an end when she was arrested in connection with drug trafficking charges. She was eventually convicted and sentenced to prison. However, Blanco's criminal legacy continued to impact the drug trade even from behind bars. After serving nearly 2 decades in prison, Blanco was released and deported to Colombia in 2004. She lived a relatively low-profile life until September 3, 2012, when she was fatally shot outside a butcher shop in Medellin, Colombia, in an apparent assassination. Grice de Blanco's life and criminal activities have been the subject of various books, documentaries, and films. She is remembered as one of the most notorious and influential figures in the history of the international drug trade, known for her ruthlessness and her significant role in shaping the illicit drug market in the United States,